So what I'm hearing you say is that you're offering a path to employers because I think a lot of times employers, like you said, to them it may sound black and white and very easy to put a policy into place, but they may not realize the effect it can have on their business because they may have the opposite effect. It
Hmm.
may end up causing them more issues because yeah, and they might be thinking what's the word, common sense is not very common because
Yeah.
a commonsensical policy, but it may have a lot of effect on their businesses because employees, you have to interact with employees, right? And if you are not giving employee a path to how to handle this situation, you're creating issues for yourself in the long run. Now,
Yes.
what are the common issues that you have to inform employers about employees? Like, what is it that you're kind of always on the in warning employers about?
That's a good question. There's a lot of things, substantive topics, of course, like wage and hour and leaves of absence. But
So you mentioned, I'm
oh,
sorry, I cut you off
that's
because you
okay.
said leaves and absence is a big one. So wage and hour, like, so what do you advise employers? Because I know I get a lot of general questions, and it seems like there's a lot of confusion on, well, how do I do this? My approach, and I don't know how you feel about this, is I always advocate getting a payroll company involved to do the timekeeping. I'm not a big fan of timesheets. What's your take?
Yeah, I think that there's two parts to this answer. I think that there has to be a technology piece, but then there also has to be a people piece. Because if you're managing people, you can't manage people with technology alone. So you either need an HR person, or you need a lawyer, or you need a business owner who is constantly getting legal advice. Because this is a fluctuating sort of thing. It's not a mathematical equation, it's not a formula. Payroll companies are wonderful for processing payroll, but they're not trained to look for mistakes, issues. Some of them will inform you of changing laws, but they're not necessarily on the cutting edge of that, nor are they going to make recommendations to you. For instance, I'll give you an example. I was just in a seminar, an employment law seminar, with some employment law attorneys who just litigated cases relating to rollover time in wage and hour, which is, that's a common issue, a common question about should we be rolling over time. And they told us about the case, they told us about everything that happened, which is, a very direct answer, or a very, yes or no sort of answer. But what they told us, which is what, an HR person or a payroll cannot tell us, is the sentiment, the feeling, the intention behind the decision, the sort of, yes, this is the answer, but this is really the rationale behind it. And the rationale was, or the feeling behind it was, rollover time is going away. So you might as well start getting rid of it now. It's not a good practice. Let's stop rolling over things. So to your point, a payroll company is going to process payroll, and they're going to maybe do rollover time if you tell them to do it, but they're not necessarily going to be able to advise you on how to stay proactively out of court and ahead of this. And that's really what it requires.